This morning, I woke up. Now that's good news, but when I checked my phone, I saw even better news. The Fed updated their website, and it now reads that there is a 99.6% chance of a rate cut coming, and with only 13 days to go, the market has decided that it's time to start going down, because that makes sense. Now today, I've opened another trade. The trade is not quite triggered yet, it's actually below the current price, but I'm pretty confident that this one is going to be a good idea. That can't be said for every trade that I take, but this one I actually think will work. And that's not to say that we don't normally make, of course we normally make money, that's why I am where I am, but you know, not every trade works. That's just a fact of life. You can't always win. Now I remain bullish. I think that the market is in a very, very strong position, and I believe that when the US market opens today, it's gonna go up. And what it looks like to me at the moment is there is a squeeze, and the squeeze is squeezing the new entries, the people that jumped in late. So is Bitcoin going to hold this level of support? I'm quite confident that the answer is yes, but I'm going to explain to you in detail why. I'll also explain why I'm taking this particular trade here that's not triggered yet, and even though we've lost support, why am I longing this? We've just lost support. And of course, as usual, we have a ton of cryptocurrency news and traditional finance news to discuss, so let's crack straight on. And first things first, it's looking to me like we are probably going to find some support here. I'm pretty optimistic to find support here. I'm being a little bit ambitious in terms of my entry. I don't know if it's going to get that low. I do expect that right now is a pretty good time to be buying the dip, but I could be entirely wrong. And of course, this isn't financial advice. You should do your own research and contact a financial advisor if you want financial advice. But I'm optimistic for a number of reasons that I'm going to go into in just a few moments' time. This is the overall chart right now, but I think this is pretty good news and it's shaping up pretty nicely. But in order to properly understand what is going on with these charts, we have to discuss what is going on in the news. Today, we got really good news. As markets opened in the UK, we got the update from the Fed that they expect a rate cut this month, but not really for the best of reasons. The reason that in 13 days time, the Fed is likely going to cut rates with a 99.6% chance is because unemployment is starting to suffer, so we need to stimulate the economy. Now that already means the economy has been damaged by Jerome Powell. His inability to swallow his pride and drop the interest rate has meant that, well, now jobs are starting to be lost in America. In terms of in the UK, we actually started cutting rates a while back, so jobs haven't really been suffering. I think employment in the UK has been perfectly fine. And if you watched yesterday's video, you'll know that I said I'll give away $10,000 to somebody that leaves a comment in the comment section if we hit 1,000 likes. We got closer. We got 329 likes yesterday, which is very close. Like, these videos, by the look of it, only need to get 4,000 views and we'll probably hit 1,000 likes. And the same applies today. If we hit 1,000 likes on this video before I post the next video, I'll give away $10,000 to somebody that comments bullish or bearish in the comment section. I want to know what you think about the price of Bitcoin right now. I use it as a very good gauge, and then I can report back to you on it. So are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin? Let me know, comment section below. Also, drop a like on the video while you're there so we can get to 1,000 likes and I can give away $10,000 to somebody. It's not a joke, it's not pretend, it's real, and you can win it by literally just leaving a comment. I don't want anything other than a comment, and of course a like. However, before we go on to any more traditional financial news, I want to quickly whiz through all of the crypto stuff, talk about the headlines briefly, because it's important to get a whole complete view on the market before we go to chart it to understand what environment the market is currently trading in. The first thing would be you can now add hacks within Ethereum smart contracts that will drain people's computers, give away all of your personal details, everything like that, from as little as sending a coin to somebody's wallet. So next time you see that coin in your wallet that's worth $600,000 and it didn't belong there yesterday, it's happened to me so many times where I wake up. It happened to me on PHEMEX on the Web3 wallet the other day on PHEMEX. I woke up with $676,000 in my wallet. I was like, wow, that was a good day. What happened there? Checks it. It's some random coin that somebody sent to me. Checks if I can sell it. No, there's no liquidity. The whole thing is to get you to generally go to the dodgy website. But now you can do the scam within the token. If people try to sell it, it triggers something within the smart contract that downloads dodgy stuff onto your computer and sucks all the information out. So just be very careful if you see a lot of money on your wallet. In other news, DIY retirement savers in Australia have trimmed their nest eggs by 4%. Now, bearing in mind that crypto is up plus 100% in the past year, if Australian crypto holders hold 4% less than they did last year, that means Australia's been dumping like crazy over the past year. I think that says more about Australia's economic environment than anything, and it's probably more to do with the mass exodus of people from Australia to tax havens. Like when I look around in Thailand, it's Australians, it's English people, it's French people. This one is maybe slightly less controversial, but not in the world of crypto, because the XRP army have made a difference in the Ripple's SEC case, according to a crypto lawyer. And I completely agree with this. I think a strong strong community massively helps with the legitimacy of a project. And we see so many project founders these days thinking that they are the reason that the project is doing well for a period of time. And it's not, it's because of the community. All of the value within any project is in the community. Look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, look at XRP, all of them, and Solana, all of them have developed amazing communities over the years. These communities stimulate growth, create products, start using these networks, and that's what's bringing the value, not the CEOs, which is why it's funny when a CEO goes on a podcast and the podcast host is talking about how much of an amazing person they are, but in reality, they paid people to create a product, and the product is getting used by people. Sure enough, good idea, but if you're creating a blockchain, it's not exactly unique these days, is it? So if you are a founder, stay humble. You are your community. However, moving on, businesses are recycling 22% of profits into Bitcoin, says a research company called River. Private businesses have acquired 84,000 Bitcoin this year. This is private, not public. So these are things that aren't relying on a stock to trade on stock market and pump when the price of Bitcoin goes up. These are just normal people with normal businesses buying Bitcoin. And it's fascinating to see people divesting their profits from their work into Bitcoin, not banks. Because like we discussed yesterday, banks are criminal organizations. They're not good. A bank keeps somebody poor. Bitcoin frees you from the inflationary currency that is prescribed to you at birth. But as you'll know, markets have been going down in the past 3-4 hours now. Maybe it'll go on a few hours after as well, as soon as I film this video, but I think it will probably go up around US Open time. Ethereum derivatives turn bullish, even as spot Ether ETFs see a $300 billion outflow, and that is predominantly why the markets have been dropping this morning. We've been seeing a little bit of institutional selling. Hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, but there are so many bullish signs out there. For me, it's more of a dip than anything bad. But we're going to discuss that in just a moment's time, as well as discussing price of Bitcoin, price of Solana, and some altcoins as well. So make sure you keep watching and drop a like on this video, because if you hit 1,000 likes, one of you gets $10,000 that leaves a comment in the comment section below. It could happen on any video. We used to bang 1,000 likes every video at least. And also, I'm coming back to streaming soon, so get them channel notifications on. The past few days for Ethereum ETFs, we've seen 36,500 leave, 31,370 leave, and 8,830 Ethereum leave these ETFs over the course of the past 3 working days. And that's quite aggressive, but it's nowhere near as aggressive as the buying when the buying kicks in. And to be fair, a nice little period of red, buy the dip opportunity, maybe. Finally, in today's crypto news, Peter Thiel versus Michael Saylor, crypto treasury bet or bubble? Well, it is both a bubble and a good treasury bet. It's worked so far. It's undeniably been a great Ponzi. Will it continue to work? Well, no, at some point, every Ponzi scheme collapses. It might take 30 years, but it will collapse. There will come a point where there isn't enough money going in and there's too much money going out. And even though they pay off that debt in shares, if the value of the shares is dropping very aggressively, they'll have to compensate in cash. Or maybe they won't, because some of these contracts that I've read are very favorable towards MicroStrategy. And from speaking to ChatGPT, it is insanely bullish on MicroStrategy. It's like incredible is ChatGPT. I was having a full-on conversation with it the other day about MicroStrategy, and it was insistent that MicroStrategy will only get liquidated if Bitcoin drops below $15,000. And I was like, how can that be possible? Their average price is like $72,000 per coin. How can they run it down that far? And I actually think it might be right. I think that, I mean, for me, the way that I've done the maths on it is they're not liquidation price as such, because they pay their shares, they pay their debt with shares. So they can't really be liquidated, but a point whereby the asset wouldn't cover the value of the debt, that point comes around $50,000. At the point where they could no longer finance the debt comes around $30,000. But I don't think this bull run is going to end with a Michael Saylor going pop. I think that happens in 10 or 15 years time. That average entry really needs to be a lot higher. And I know there's lots of people out there that want the downfall of it, because it fundamentally goes against everything that Bitcoin is about. It centralizes the currency. It pools power. It's the rich getting richer again. And also the collapse of it, that would be such a bullish event. It would provide so many lovely entries, because ultimately the value of Bitcoin wouldn't change. But don't get your hopes up that it's going to collapse anytime soon. Now over to the traditional news, where we've got Trump again talking a lot like he normally does, creating chaos like he normally does. And right now he wants the Supreme Court to undo their judgment the other day that said that tariffs weren't possible. He is absolutely desperate to get this repealed. He knows how much chaos it will create and how much he has messed people over if it doesn't go through, which is why he's organized a dinner with all of the tech CEOs in America. He needs everyone on board to get this through, but it is really interesting watching it all unfold. What do you think? You reckon it's going to happen? From my perspective, I think he'll get it through. In other news, the iPhone 17 is coming, which is pretty interesting, because I mean, it's every September we get a new iPhone, and so what is happening? We're getting a new iPhone. It's September. Will it be any different? I don't know. Probably a slightly different shape so your old phone case doesn't fit. Will it have any new technology? Probably not. But I would expect by the end of this year, Apple stock to doing pretty well because I expect major improvements in the Apple AI features. And I think that Apple will start becoming a contender in the world of AI because currently they're not. And so the bet on Apple right now is if you're interested in trading stocks, you can actually trade stocks on BYBIT. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. But the bet is that the iPhone 17 is a sales flop. It does poor on earnings data. However, so you basically short towards the end of the earnings period. However, expect Apple AI to get some big improvements and therefore Apple stock price to rise initially. Now, the Chinese stock market is continuing its woes here with Nidec plunging 22% as China unit probes find out accounting issues tied to management. Basically, somebody's been skimming the books. And that uncertainty and unease is continuing in Europe and the West as we've seen a global bond sell-off. And what this means is people aren't valuing government debt as high as they used to value it, meaning that bond yields are increasing. But that's not good news because it means that the value of currency is dropping. And finally, do you remember this advert here with Sydney Sweeney in America with American Eagle, and everyone on the internet complained about it and said that it was, what was it? Not PC or something like that because she's wearing jeans. I don't understand actually why this is a bad advert, but everyone talked about it at the time. Anyway, it's proven that doing adverts with women wearing jeans does good for your company because their stock has been pumping and their shares and sales have been increasing. So with all that being said, where does it leave us in the market right now? And well, if we were to look at the price of Bitcoin, we are struggling to hold this level that I've drawn here. It makes a lot more sense on a lower time frame, such as the 10 minutes. And if we look at the 10 minute there, it makes a hell of a lot more sense than what it does do the way that I've drawn it on the bigger time frames. But we'll get rid of that and we'll start again. Where are we with regards to the price of Bitcoin on the Fibonacci retracement right now? Well, if we look at that, we can see that the fib point of the I think it's stretching a little bit there, but you can see that the 0.618 level is this level right here. I don't think we're heading back towards it. I think this is a deep retest of the 0.5 level, and the retest of the 0.5 level, yeah, sure, we're dipping just below it, but it's not an exact science. We're ultimately just testing these old level of support around here. Like you can see, it used to be resistance. We got rejected, we got rejected, we got rejected. We're just testing it again now. So it's a minor area of concern that if we do lose this level, then it will just aggressively drop all the way back down one more time, wiping out all long positions one more time, and the drop target would again be $103,000, $104,000, and it would be very aggressive and very unpleasant. But be aware that that is a realistic possibility for Bitcoin because, again, the economic environment right now, very mixed signals. But I maintain my bullishness because I actually think the bull case is more likely than the bear case. Because when we look at things like Ethereum versus Bitcoin right now, Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, hey, this is the hourly chart. It's a lot of sideways action, nothing really consistently upwards. However, we look at Ethereum, and Ethereum is having a bullish retest here on the outside of its old trading formation that it had formed. However, it's literally at that level, and it's not the best news, to be honest, because being at that level there, we're literally sat on the outside of a level of support. If we lose the level of support that's currently sat, what, for $4,300, it will drop all the way down to about $4,166. And to be honest, at that point, I'd expect a continuation of the trend somewhere into the mid 3,000 level, and it'd be a very aggressive retracement. It'd be very unpleasant, unless you're in a juicy short position, and then it would be fine. But I would not be opening one right now, let me tell you. And then for Solana, what are we looking at? Well, we got rejected again yesterday at $212, briefly breaking out, but we didn't get the daily close above that level. I think this again is just scaring people heading into US Open. I think it makes people think that the price is going to go down, but if you look at the way that it's holding right now, it's holding previous support. That right there, that's previous support. You break through that, you come back down, you retest 202 again. I'd be buying 202. I wouldn't be shorting off 202, and I think that the market is going to bounce quite aggressively later on in the day. I say this because when we start looking at things like the Bitcoin liquidation heat map here, it's very aggressively structured at the moment with $12,950 having $500 million of liquidations, but there's literally billions of dollars on the run up to $114,000. I just think this is one of those times where the market scares you out just before, but don't let it skip your mind that there is currently a 99.6% chance of a rate cut at the end of the month. So whatever happens between now and then, as long as you're not over leveraged, you'll be able to get out of your position and you'll get some good profit on it. Just don't go crazy with the leverage. If you're using more than 3x leverage, you're taking risk at the moment. I'd say less than 3x leverage. Look, Bitcoin's not going to drop 33%, is it? It's just probably not going to happen. We're in a bull market. And at some point, Bitcoin will hit $150,000 this year. So it's one of those things. It's a matter of time. On Solana, the level of which we should be watching should probably be redrawn just a little bit like that. The level of which we should be watching would be a loss of the $200 level. If we lose that $200 level again, it breaks that trading range that we've been in for ages, and then you go back into one of the older trading ranges with a more aggressive stance to it, and it would be more unpleasant. If you actually look back how long this has been going, this uptrend has been going for an awfully long time. To be fair, it can go a little bit lower. It can go 199, but really that is the limit. And then you retake the old trading range of 181, and again, it'd be a very aggressive drop down, but I don't think that's very likely. For me, I'll be looking for a long position on a re-break of the previous high that we set of 212. However, naturally, you want to be in before that. So to take a tentative long position here, I don't think is the worst idea, but equally, I wouldn't take a trade in this market until we've got a clear level of breakout. I think if you're trading right now, you are taking more risk than perhaps you need to. For me, I'm already in my trade here. So when we look at the pump trade and this Bitcoin trade here, that's already in a trade. That trade has been going quite well for a while. I could have closed it up here, but I didn't. And now we're running it back down, but I'm trying to get an increase on my order entry here, because if I can increase the size of the trade, I'm very confident in the bounce today. So being that I'm confident in the bounce, and I think we'll actually take 113, maybe even 114 today. I'm pretty optimistic about that, but because of that, I'd love it to trigger. I'm not 100%. I think it might be too aggressive, that though. Either way, the pump trade here is going stupendous. Pump will keep pumping. I'm telling you now, this altcoin is going to rip through this level of resistance here, and if it does that, it's going to straight line up to here. And if it does that, we are in the money. Let's have a look, actually. Let's have a look. How much money would that put us in a profit? If it ran up to this level here, we'd make $66,000 on this trade. I might leave that there just in case to TP $66,000. That'd be pretty sweet on the account. Currently, there's $10,000 to $100,000 trading challenge, as you can see, has got an account balance of $55,000. If we go over here though and go to the futures account just to look at the statistics and P&L and stuff like that, it's down 5k from this morning because of the little drop down that we've had. But if we look at it overall, we're on this nice steady uptrend as well. We're making a lot of good calls recently in order to make the money to get to $1 million. And if you want to follow along with the challenge, join Crypto Saving Expert. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. So far on this challenge, we have got a very good P&L. We had one bad day, like I talked about yesterday. Bad days happen to us all. We lost 46 grand in a day, but you've got to bear in mind we turned 10k into 100k and then lost 46k, and then we had a bit of a wobble, ran it down a couple more times, lost 8k, lost 12k. It's looking terrible at that point. We got to a low of 25k on this account, and now to be back up at the level where we're currently at $55,500, I'm very happy with how it's going, and I'm pretty optimistic that we'll achieve $100,000 within 7 days. Looking at the overall market for how it closed yesterday, Google closed up 9%, Apple closed up 4% because of the good news, especially about the iPhone 17 hitting the markets and everyone predicting that the AI is going to come through. I think that this will keep running. I think that Google will keep running. I think that a lot of these stocks, to be fair, are not undervalued, but certainly have a lot more space to grow. And because of that, I think it reflects on the crypto space. I think the Bitcoin is bullish. I think the whole market is quite bullish right now. I'm going to seriously end up eating my words if we drop down to $103,000. But I just don't think it's that likely right now. I feel like it's so much more likely that this is to scare people out just before we get a huge move. And speaking of huge moves, if you want a Rolex, you can get one if you do $100 million trading volume over on BLOFIN. Now, for me, I did $550 million in the past month of trading volume. It's actually a lot easier than you think to do that much trading volume. If you think every time you place a trade and it's $50,000, open and close is $100,000 worth of trading volume. That would get you nothing. But if you did it 10 times and you get a free set of AirPods, if you do it a bunch more than 10 times, you do it 50 times and you get a Nintendo Switch. If you do it 200 times, then you get an iPhone 16. Think of it like that. How many trades do you open and close in the span of a month? You should check out BLOFIN. This is only available on the link in today's video description. It's an amazing offer, and BLOFIN is a fantastic exchange. That's what we're doing the trading challenge on here. But on that note, guys, thank you all very much for watching today's video. Let's get 1,000 likes. Come on, let me give $10,000 to one of you. Just press that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, because live streams are coming back. And it's been a pleasure to be your host. See you in a bit. This is